Good morning. UAB is coming off a 56-35 victory over South Florida and heads to UTSA this weekend. So with that, I'll turn it over to Coach Dilfer for an opening statement.
Thanks, Ted. Obviously pleased that the month of October is here. September's gone. We played better. I don't think USF played their best, which helped in the cause. The thing I was most proud of, because it was such an emotional week, was I had a very short pregame speech and very short halftime speech, and at the end of them, two different players said, "Hey, don't forget, play for the names on the back of the jerseys today." And I think there was something there. And it wasn't just about winning the game. Like those kids last week, probably from about Wednesday on is when it kind of hit them that they had the opportunity to bring joy to a lot of families that were hurting, and they embraced that. I just left a service project where 20 of our players and 4 of our coaches were serving food to the homeless all morning downtown. They're going to be doing that for the next 3 hours. Our community service hours will now be in the 900s. Our GPA is as good as it's ever been. Football here, we have nobody academically on probation. Our kids are making better decisions. I say all that because it's starting to reflect itself in how we prepare and how we play. And we make good decisions off the field when we play for something bigger than ourselves. Magically, we make better decisions on the field and we play better football. So.
Questions? Ryan? Go ahead,
No. How was the win? Tell me about your Sunday. Tell me about what.
My Sundays don't change. Saturday night was nice. Had Decker, Maddie, and Christian in town. Got to see Decker. You saw him in the presser. Had Maddie and Christian come over. We were able to watch some football, hang out at the loft. Sunday got to see Decker in the morning after church. And then Sunday's no different. I mean, I'm been proud of the staff, proud of all of us that regardless of the amount of kicks we took in the groin in September, we came up Sunday and flushed it and moved forward and really prepared like champions. It didn't always show the next week, but Sunday was no different. In fact, I texted a bunch of them that night, and it was funny. I texted Sione and Mort first, and they had already sent out this exact text to the offense, defense, and special teams was no exhaling. Tomorrow, let's get better. So there was no pat ourselves on the back. There was no, and I was really proud of this. I thought I might go in that locker room. Everybody's like, yeah, we just won the Super Bowl. And instead it was, no, we actually did what we're supposed to do. Now let's enjoy it, because I do think you need to enjoy it that night. But the next day you got to get better. Next day you got to look yourself in the mirror. We still made way too many mistakes. But we owned it. Like, nobody was defensive. Not a coach was defensive. I had a couple mistakes in the game. I called a terrible – I don't ride Mort very often, but I did it on one play, and it was not a good call on my end. So there's some stuff that I got to fix. I think every coach felt that way and every player felt that way. So as of last night, the guys were ready to move on and have a great Tuesday.
Are we keeping the mustache now?
The wife says yes. And at this stage, as long as she thinks I'm good looking, I really don't care about the rest. So Delaney's freaked out a little bit about it. Maddie and Tori like it. Delaney has never seen, I think I said this, Delaney does not recall ever seeing me without chin hair. I did the goatee for years when she was little. Then I went to the beard, I think, at ESPN. I think I went to the beard right about the time I went to ESPN, which was 2008. So she's 21. Somebody help me with the math. 13 off of 21. So she was 8. And she saw me with the goatee before that. So she's a little freaked out. The son-in-laws like it. Both are big mustache guys. So, I really don't care about the rest. Those are my family. Decker keeps trying to grab for my chin hair, and he can't. So I think he's trying to figure it all out.
Still think you look great.
Stash Bros. The best-looking guy in the room.
All right, so defensively, after looking at the tape, how do you grade those guys? Obviously, you give up 3 late touchdowns, but at that point, it was kind of, trying to get out of the game and just, get back to the house. So how would you grade them after looking at the film?
It's actually a great question, because there's 2 grading systems. Like, when the game was in balance, they played phenomenal. like phenomenal. At 189 yards we'd given up at one point, and then 22 plays cost us like 300 yards or something, I think the number was. A lot of those plays came kind of when they were in desperation, and we were sputtering offensively too. We had sputtered offensively and didn't get the fourth and short, gave them field position another time, didn't capitalize on the field goal. So they kind of regained some offense momentum there late in the game, and that was a lot of their yards. But in a modern day college football, you're going to give up yards. It's just it's so tilted towards the offense's advantage that it's kind of the intangible stuff. Like, were they running to the football? Yes. Were they fighting off blocks? Yes. Were they communicating? Yes. Even when they got beat, were they making adjustments on the sideline? Yes. Did they flinch? No. Like, that's how I'm kind of grading defense right now. Now, obviously, you want points down, you want yards down. That's a byproduct of it. But I was super proud of them as a group, just how they rallied against a very explosive offense.
And I thought the run game was the best that it's been all year, especially the offensive line play. But not only that, but Lee Beebe and Witherspoon coming in. Can you assess the status of Isaiah Jacobs heading into this?
Yeah, he'll be questionable this week. I'll know more at the end of the week. But we talked about this being a strength of our room. Strength of our program was that room. So they're all kind of in the next man up mentality. You forgot the guy that played bonkers, which was Skull, Jermaine Brown. He made some cuts that were NFL type cuts. There were some plays that were blocked for 3 that he got 33. Some plays that were blocked for 1 that he got 12. He piped a couple runs. His touchdown run, where we direct snapped it to him, we actually didn't block it the way we wanted to block it. And they kind of knew the play was coming. It was a good coach at the other point, but he set it up, had great vision, made an incredible cut to get in the end zone. So I think Jermaine really was the catalyst to how we played offensively. I thought Lee played fantastic, BB. The one run they went down their sideline on was a terrible – that's right, I can't criticize was a call that should not have been made, in my opinion. I think I can say that. And actually, T.J. Jones is blocking his tail off. Technically perfect, great energy, great toughness, and I think he just blocked the guy too well, so they called the hole. But that was a really good run by Lee. Finishes runs well, finished with authority. I thought Witherspoon came in and gave us a nice little burst. Lee Witherspoon's a really nice outside zone runner. And then 8-ball battle. I've called him 8-ball since he's been here. Demetrius, got some good quality carries too. So our backs really were the catalyst to our offense.
And obviously, with that running game, the offensive line just continues to improve. But we saw a little bit of shakeup on the right side, especially when Tater went down. Just how do you grade, those guys coming in, playing different positions? Like you said, that was a big thing in preseason, getting these guys versatile to where they can do things like that.
Yeah, I thought, considering we've been banged up, had some change on the right side throughout the year. Guys, when their numbers are called, are coming in and playing well. I'm careful when I say this because it is something that we do need to get much better at, and they know that. But they continue to get better. And if you're just judging our team on their growth, then that's a group that has grown a lot, but they need to continue to grow more.
Trent, bigger picture-wise, I was at Texas this weekend. Carrie was at the game, but I'm at the press box, and ESPN2 has UAB on. That's a different change from last year. I've been here for 3 years. I'm looking right now, ESPNU. Your guys are getting some exposure that is really good for this program. I know it's new year 1 for you. This isn't what you want to be year 3, bigger and bigger and growing. Are you liking that so far?
Yeah, I think it's the move to the American's a big deal. That we talked about that from day one, that the exposure you get in this conference is incredibly valuable. I was watching some Conference USA games, and they're in random times on random networks. My future son-in-law is playing at Liberty, and they play tomorrow night, I think it is, right? Tuesday. They played on a Thursday to Tuesday. And nobody's going to know they're playing tomorrow night. So, and that's a really good program. Liberty does a great job. So, we're fortunate to be getting these Saturday games and television slots that a lot of people can watch. Recruiting has been great. Recruits are reaching out to us from all over the country, actually, because they're seeing us. They're learning something about us. They enjoy the way. I've even had some recruits reach out to me in the midst of losing, and I'm almost apologetic. Like, no, we know it's coming. Like, you guys play with great energy. You're tough. You know, you can see the sideline. Like, they're talking about the intangible things that don't always show up in wins and losses, but a young person that's looking for a place to go spend 4 or 5 years of his life is looking for. So. It's been a really positive thing. Now, it's even better if we win. Yeah. Yeah, big time. It's been really beneficial for us. We've been very active in recruiting during the season, and more importantly, the recruits have been active with us. Very engaging.
And another big opportunity Saturday night in a dome atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
But can you talk a little bit about Jeff Traylor and what he's done for this UTSA program?
I love Jeff. I think of the guys, you know, Alex and I, Golish, were already friends before we took these jobs. Jeff is a guy I've met recently. I've always admired him. I remember I was in Texas for those few years, and I was retired, so I was kind of just a high school football nut. And you can't go anywhere in Texas without hearing about Jeff Traylor. Like, it doesn't matter what part of the state you're in. And it's not just because he's a good football coach, it's the way he did things, you know. And he's kind of like my stepdad, that I've told stories where, you know, he was done coaching and we'd be out to some diner or something, and it was inevitable somebody was going to come up and say, "Coach, you know, you changed my life." And my stepdad would be like, "I forget his name, Trent, you know, that was 30 years ago." But Jeff's had that impact on so many people. And that's really the cool thing about being a high school football coach is you know that the impact you're having on those young people is lifelong, and Jeff has a long history of that, and he's a heck of a football coach. They're tough, they're gnarly, they're disciplined, they play fast, like they just know who they are, and I just got a great deal of respect for them. And this is, and I said it last week, I mean, we're not good enough to where there's not going to be a challenge. Every week is a big challenge, and I would say this is the top of the list because of Jeff and the mentality he has in that program.
Along the same line of the exposure, there was a USF fan went on social media this weekend and said they were going to match the point total of the game to donate to Children's Harbor. A lot of South Florida fans followed them. Just what does that tell you, and what does that speak to you know, what this program does, and what does it mean, you know, far beyond just the program and the city of Birmingham?
It was really cool. So I must have been 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, Saturday night, and the best text I got a lot of cool texts from people all over the country, and the best one was when somebody told me that. Who was it? Somebody texted me and said, was it you? Yeah, it was Ted. And said, you know, this is cool. USF fans are donating because they appreciated our team, but more importantly, the cause. And what an impact, right? I mean, what a cool thing. It goes to the exposure thing. I think it goes to the way we conduct our business. But more importantly, it goes to what Children's Harbor stands for, and the TV announcers. You know, I've been on that side of it too, and I will say this: that crew, Beth, actually. So Beth, the second game I ever called at ESPN was with Beth. My first was a Central Michigan Ball State game on like a Wednesday, when Butch Jones was the coach, and like 2 weeks later, I went to go call a Fresno game with Derek Carr as the quarterback, and Beth was the play-by-play. And we were joking about it and then the production call. But, you know, for that crew to make it a point to talk about Children's Harbor, I think is a big deal, right? You have to prioritize. When you're getting ready to call a game, you can't let anything get in the way of the game. Obviously, that's job number one when you're calling a live sporting event. But you have to prioritize what storylines you're going to get to, whether the score dictates it, whether it's coming out of a commercial break, whether it's a stoppage in play. And for them to put Children's Harbor as like the storyline speaks volumes to that crew, speaks volumes to the producer of that. That's, you know, they're kind of the unsung heroes sometimes in storytelling because they have to decide to tell the story. And they did, and I think that's why the USF fans became more engaged even besides just the cool jerseys and the different names on the back. I think the storytellers in the game have a big part to do with that.
Anything else?
That was way easier than after getting our butts kicked. So, hope it's an easy one next week, guys.
Congrats on the win, Coach.
Hey, Coach, I'm gonna, John.
Yeah.